So many stories, even from your childhood, so many stories that if you were around the Bible as a child that you heard, maybe you saw it on the felt board, but nonetheless, it's a truth to your heart. And we're going to be reminded about those very familiar stories and maybe some new stuff along the way here in this short book of Daniel. So make sure you're staying there with us and make sure that you get into Devos, onebaptist.org/devotional, and we will rehearse some of those things in that combination to you every single day. Now, in my lifting out of man, 1 through 3 is so packed with some fantastic stuff. I would say this is the passage in the book of Daniel where you've heard about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and this is that passage that talks about them. Remember how they were in the fire, and then there was talk about but we see Jesus. Talk about seeing Jesus in the Old Testament. You see him in that fire. If you've never heard that, go to the Devo and check out that story and see how it plays out. But listen, aren't you glad that Jesus is not only our deliverer, but he is our protector, and he can make it as if nothing happened at all. Check that out. Read that paragraph of your Devo along with everything else. You'll see Jesus pictured in these 3 chapters today. You'll see him as the stone, the chief cornerstone. We got some comparing scripture with scripture verses right there beside that in the Christ Revealed section of our Devo today. So look, I can't keep talking about all that, but go to the Devo and check it out, and I think you'll be enthralled with what you're reading today. Not just today, but every day in this book of Daniel is going to be fun. Now, I want to close my part of the Devo by bringing out to you Daniel chapter 1 and verse 8. Daniel chapter 1 and verse 8. Now, do remember this. This Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you understand these were teenage boys. At this time, these are teenagers who are making a stand that could risk their life, but that's the stand that they made. It is so encouraging to see them, as it were. And listen, you're talking to a guy who don't believe that the teenagers of today are the church of tomorrow. I believe they are just as much a part of the church of today. And maybe you want to share this with your teenager, maybe a neighbor, a friend, a grandchild, maybe your own teen, and just let them know, hey, look at Daniel. Look at these boys who were willing to make a stand. And I believe there's still enough teenagers in this land that can make a stand and at least make a difference. They say the old story: the darker the night, the brighter the light. I want my teenager. I want the teenagers of One Baptist Church. I'm sure you do yours. Hey, look, be a light. Be a light. We're in a dark world, but you can be a light. And maybe the book of Daniel, at least looking at these 3 and the stand that they made, maybe that can be the prodding that will encourage that teen and teenager, be a pattern that you can follow for your life. But if that's going to happen, then this thing I want to highlight from Daniel 1:8 is very important, because it says in Daniel 1:8, but Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore, he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now, I want you to grab this part of the phrase, but Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. You know, the psalmist said it like this: thy word have I hid in my heart that I might not sin against God. In the New Testament, we're told to let the word of Christ dwell in us richly, so that we've got a well of the word to draw off of. That word purposed right there is elsewhere translated in our Bible as set or place. They had already rehearsed what they would do in certain situations, so that when the situation came up, it didn't surprise them. They were ready to act on that. They had already counted the cost. Another place you find that word impute. They had already counted the cost of what it would be to make that stand, and therefore, when the time came for the temptation to come, they made that stand. Why? Because they had purposed in their heart. I pray that all of us would purpose in our heart ahead of time. God, what do I need to be prepared for? So that I'll already have your answer that needs to be exercised out of my life. Let's make that kind of difference. All of us. God bless.